Oh, for that. Right.
Okay, guys. Take it away.
Anytime?
Anytime. All right.
Okay. Hi, guys. Fernandes Limbo on the grid.
Yeah.
This is the Best of HT Preps banquet edition. You were there last night. Do you want to show our fans something?
Here's the thing. I enjoyed wearing a suit so much that I'm going to wear this coat during our show. It's not the same one,
right?
But I'm addicted now to wearing nice suit jackets.
Well, one thing about that color, it hides all sweat stains and ketchup stains.
Well,
so
I don't.
I like that.
I don't sweat much. So.
Paper today. Here it is. Best of HT Preps. Derek Brooks over here. There's Tom Tryon over here. And there's yours truly over here. I returned the suit today, so you don't have to worry about any sort of late fee.
Speaking of sweat stains.
But what an evening. Yeah. Last year we had Tim Tebow. Yes. I know we were just talking with our boss about he thought Tebow was better than Derek Brooks. I thought Derek was fantastic.
I thought, I was curious about Derek Brooks because, he's done so many of these. I was just curious if he was just going to go through the motions, kind of. I thought he was really engaging. I thought his the story he told about his parents and getting in trouble at school was great. About how he didn't play much baseball for the high school team, so he would study on the bench during games. I thought it was a really great night. And talking to some of the parents and some of the kids, they said he was really great because what we had, obviously, the kids get their plaques and get their picture taken with Derek Brooks, and all the parents and kids I talked to said he was really nice. He was really, he was interested in them. It wasn't just an arm around a kid, smile next. It was so. I thought it was a really great night, and kudos to our marketing team for getting Derek Brooks. He was an outstanding guest
for putting that together.
Yeah.
We talked about Tebow. Tim Tebow was sort of topical every year. Derek Brooks retired back about 12 years ago, so you wondered whether these kids actually know anything about Derek Brooks as a player.
And Tim Tebow, really, he's kind of like a matinee idol. It's like he's one of those guys that all the girls love him, and the guys look up to him. So he's kind of like a young guy. They all remember him playing in Florida. Derek Brooks not so much, but I think he really had that room in the palm of his hand last night. He got a great ovation. All the kids were listening to him. He had their attention. I was kind of looking around, and he didn't see too many kids on their cell phones or fiddling with anything. They were kind of on stage watching him, and it was a great moment.
So applications are open for next year's Best of HT. If you think you got what it takes, you got to follow Tebow and Brooks.
You mean for speakers?
For speaker next year, yeah.
Who knows what we'll get next year? We've got a Heisman Trophy winner, and we got a Hall of Famer, so who knows?
I thought one of the most interesting moments is when you were up there handing out the awards, and you were up there, and LaDacia Williams came up there in heels.
Well, yeah.
And my God.
Well, it doesn't take much to overtower me. So, honestly, I think every athlete who came up there, Devin Leacock, our port Charlotte, he could have listed all three of us kind of on one hand and did one of those things. But it was a great night. I think it says something, too, because you see the way everyone was kind of dressed, the student athletes, the coaches, the parents. I think when people dress formally to an event that you throw, it shows some respect for you, in a sense. So, I kind of think that's a compliment that so many kids and parents and coaches were dressed so formally last night. I think it says something about our event and what it means to them.
I'll tell you what it says too. I went to high school I graduated in 1980, and I'll just tell you that the way high school kids dressed when I went to, even for a major event like this, and the way high school kids dress nowadays, it is like night and day.
I think kids in bow ties. I couldn't tie a bow tie if you.
And some of the let's face
an hour and a half to try and do it.
But some of the things the girls were wearing back in my day, the parents probably wouldn't let them out of the house like that. But
well, times change. But everybody was tasteful.
Very tastefully.
Very tasteful work.
Very tastefully done. But we had a guy, Dennis Maffezoli, who was Mr. Preps, and yet he had to go cover the regional final with Sarah. And I was talking to Dennis. He said it was the best atmosphere. They were 5 deep at Drews Field.
Yeah.
And when
Brooks Larson.
When Larson hit the home run, he was going on the bases, whooping it up like Bill Mazeroski in 1960.
Right.
Tremendous. And kudos to the Sailors, the little engine that could.
Yeah. And I covered their regional semifinal, which began on a Tuesday and ended about 11 o'clock at night on a Wednesday because of the rain. So, they've had 2 pretty memorable games to get to a Final Four. They're back in the Final Four. They play Haggerty, I believe.
Right.
Fort Myers. It's not at JetBlue this year. It's at Hammond Stadium where the Twins play.
Right.
I think there's a scheduling conflict with JetBlue. But great story. Look, the games I've seen with Sarasota, they pitch and they play defense. They don't have a ton of thundersticks on that team in that lineup. They're going to score 4 or 5 runs a game, but they have 2 good pitchers in Cole Madden and Brooks Larson. They play defense, and if you do those things, and Clyde Metcalf knows a thing or two about baseball, so you do those 2 things, you add him into the mix, and they got a shot.
Oh, they have a definite shot. I guess Haggerty they competed in the Sarasota Classic, and they were beaten by the team Sarasota beat. So in terms of like opponents, but that doesn't mean anything. I know. In a one-game season,
who knows who they pitched that game?
Right.
I mean, they're gonna, you pitch your ace in the state semifinal. You have to get to the final. So I wouldn't look much into that.
But you mentioned Clyde Metcalf. You talk about major league teams that overperform, and you realize that wow, the manager has a lot.
Yeah.
He's pushed all the right buttons with this talent. They may not be as past teams.
Well, I don't think they've overperformed. Maybe we're measuring them against some great Sarasota teams that had first round
that maybe didn't get as far as this team did.
Well, we're measuring them against some legendary Sarasota baseball teams. I think this is a good baseball team. I mean, like I said, they play defense, they pitch, and they put the ball in play. They don't strike out a lot, what I've seen. And if you do that at the high school level, you move guys around, pressure the defense, you're going to be successful more times than not.
How about Lemon Bay? I have not seen Lemon Bay play at all. What can you say about Lemon Bay?
Pretty cool that we have Lemon Bay going for the first time, and Sarasota going for the who knows how many times they've been there. But yeah, I mean, we do know. I guess didn't look it up. Bad prep by me. But no, great story, Lemon Bay. And of course, they had the interesting road there. They had the forfeit in the district, and then they had the bye in the first round of regional because Bay Shore had the whole pitch count thing, and that affected things. So, I mean, Casey Hanrahan, the head coach, did a great job keeping them sharp. And they go to they play, I believe, Bishop Moore in the state semifinal. So,
I was going to ask you sort of off the cuff question. When's the last time? Maybe it was last year, and I'm just got early senility here. When's the last time we had two teams in the Final Four from the area?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. It might have been was
it Venice and somebody else?
2 years ago. 2 years ago. Because the last time Sarasota went, they played for the state championship, and Venice won as well. Because Venice had the run of 4 or 5 straight.
Right. Exactly.
So 2 years ago we had Sarasota and Venice both go.
So rah-rah, Sarasota and Lemon Bay.
Yeah.
Let's move up the county a little bit. It seems like we talk about this story every week, the story that hasn't developed yet, the coaching search at Manatee High School. I think the earth was formed in less time than it's taken the time.
It's only been a month. It feels like it's been a long time because we've been talking about it so much. But
I know. And any latest news, John?
It's one of those things where there's a lot to kind of sort through. I think the 8-year service they're bringing in kind of has something to do with it. It's that might affect things. The salary isn't where.
Right.
If you have 25 years experience, you're going to come in here with only 8.
Right.
That might affect things. So we'll see. Hopefully, with Memorial Day coming up, will that affect things? Who knows? I mean, they have some time now because spring football is over.
Right.
But I'm sure they want to get someone in there as soon as possible so that person can assemble a staff and go forward. So we'll see. I mean, we're keeping our eye on it, and I'm sure when we know something, we'll tell you.
It may go down today even, right? We were kind of hoping that we'd have some news here to report to you guys, but nothing here.
Who knows? We'll see.
We'll see.
More news. Manatee County, Daniel Bradshaw.
Right. Okay.
The AD's been there for about 3 years. He replaced Paul Meckley. He's heading to South Carolina to teach and coach as an assistant at TL Hanna High in Anderson, South Carolina. He said it's better for the family, a lot more time away from school. An AD, you're there all night. And you see ADs, and he's a good guy. He's a great guy to work with. I'll miss him from that front, and they're accepting applications over at Southeast High for the new AD position.
Just jumping back to the football coach, a lot of people don't realize, so taking over a Manatee program, who wouldn't want that? But if you're coming from an area where you're getting paid X amount of dollars to be a teacher, and then you come down to Florida and you realize the position is $20,000 less, even though it's a great program, what's going to compel you to come down here? Well,
obviously it depends on someone's financial situation.
Right.
It is a great program, but again, the primary thing anyone does in any walk of life, you got to support yourself and your family. So that takes precedence over everything. So, again, everyone has different situations, and who knows, but they've had a lot of applicants, over 130, I believe.
Right.
So,
and it's down to 3 now?
We'll see. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm hearing different. We've heard so many rumors throughout these last 2 months who was getting it, and I just, I'm kind of keeping my mouth shut what I hear because I don't know if it's true or not, but we'll see. But yeah, we'll see how many people, and again, not an easy decision. I'm glad it's not my decision. I've said that before. I'm glad I just report it. I don't make it. So we'll see who they choose.
Here on The Grid, we don't release all of our information, and there are things we know that we're not going to release here. So when Manatee does make this decision, maybe in the coming next week or whatever, we'll reveal a couple of nuggets about this whole process that will come out kind of interesting.
Yeah.
What keeps people certain places.
It's been a lot of fun just listening to different stuff and sifting through what's true and what's not true. And like I said, there's so many rumors that we've been hearing from the minute Coach Booth left. the next day they started. And it's like some of it was like really, and some of it you kind of looked into, and none of them came to fruition. So we'll see what happens here.
Last bit, we spring football. I was at the IMG game. They were playing Claremont. Claremont comes down from Orlando to get their butt kicked. There was some talk they wouldn't even come out for the second half, that they'd just go home, but they came back out. Very interesting. IMG could have gone up by 35 points. On 4th and 10 from their own 20, they go for it. They don't get it. They give Claremont a 20-yard field to score.
Right.
And I'm just wondering why you're doing that. Then I'm realizing, well, they're putting that defense situations, down and distant situations.
Yeah.
What game were you at? Was it rain down?
I was at Mooney on Thursday and Manatee on Friday. They played up in Lake Gibson. Luckily, the rain stayed away from both games. I know a lot of the games here were delayed and everything. Amazing. We don't get rain for months. And then we have these big baseball games and football games, and it decides to rain on us. But no, Mooney looked good. Bryce Williams, running back, has a bunch of offers. He's the real deal. They beat Avon Park. And Manatee looked really good playing Lake Gibson, who played for a state championship last year. Their quarterback, who's going to be a sophomore in the fall, Ryan Overstreet, looked really, really good, threw a great ball. I think Coach Booth really did a great job this spring. You can tell it was a very emotional scene when the game was over. He got a little choked up. The kids came around. A lot of kids from past teams were there to kind of give him a hug and say goodbye. So it was a pretty emotional scene the last time he addressed them, and he told them, hey, guys, whoever comes in, they might change some things, but they can't change how you feel about the program and the school and the community. I thought that was kind of a nice way to send things off.
Fantastic. We're coming toward the end of the school year here. June 2nd, we got the Sarasota playing, so we have time maybe to talk about the game next week. Maybe we'd like to get somehow Clyde Metcalf talking about his performance.
Well, you've been our talent acquisition guy since we started this. You've been making the phone calls and booking guests.
That would be kind of nice. Good. Maybe we could set that up here.
We'll see. Or Coach Hanrahan over at Lemon Bay. Yeah, sure.
What else we got going on? Besides that, it's pretty much over.
It's pretty much done. June 4th on Sunday, we're going to have our big Best of HD Preps issue.
Sure.
All the athletes. We're going to recap the banquet. I'm going to have a column in there. Then you're going to have a Q&A with
Derek Brooks
transcribed. Right. So look for that June 4th. And then we're going to take some time to take a breath. Right. And then we're going to get back at it in August, and football season starts, and volleyball season, all the fall sports.
This might be the last chance people have a chance to see you in your brown blazer here, too.
It will be.
It will be. So we got a little bit more to talk about, but next week, obviously, Sarasota and Lemon Bay.
Yep.
So for John Lembo, I'm Doug Fernandes. We'll see you next week on the Grid.